Hi, Claude Whitacre here. I'm a sales trainer, a sales speaker. I speak to audiences of salespeople and business owners across the country. I'm also the author of several books on selling. And we talk a lot about different ways of making sales and different ways of prospecting and different sources of leads. Try to adapt this idea to your business. I'm just going to give you an example of something that I used to do in my business. We used to sell vacuum cleaners in people's homes. Okay, now I own a retail store, as you can see, and I have a couple of other businesses. But we used to sell vacuum cleaners in people's homes. And it took me a couple of decades to figure out that this was an opportunity. So I'm trying to save you that learning curve if you're in sales. Most people that would buy from us barely bought. Okay? In other words, they bought, but they bought, but they didn't like jump over themselves to buy. It was slight negotiation. We had to do a little bit of closing, and then they bought, and they were happy. But it took a little bit of negotiation and a little bit of skill for them to buy. And the people that didn't buy, a lot of those people just barely didn't buy. In other words, they were close. They were very, very close. Well, for a couple of decades, we just let those people go. The people that almost bought but didn't buy, we just let them go. We just completely ignored those people and just went on to another prospect. Well, finally dawns on me once that those people almost bought. Sometimes it's the salesperson that caused them to not buy. Sometimes it's the salesperson. Sometimes he forgot to tell them of a financing option that they might have, of a low down payment that they might have, of a trade-in option that they might have. He might not know of a financing source that they could have used. There's a lot of things that he might not know or that he just didn't bring up. So we started doing a call the next day. And this is what we did. If somebody didn't buy from one of our reps, the next day I did this myself for about 6 months, and then I trained a really good sales manager to do this for me. And what we would do is we would call. At first we did this just by making phone calls, and then we would just drop by their house the next day, and we would say, I'm Bob from, the sweeper store, which was not the name of the business, by the way, but that's what I'm in right now. I'm Claude from the sweeper store. You saw a demonstration of our product yesterday. I just wanted to do a quick survey to make sure everything was okay. Do you mind if I step in and ask you just a couple of questions? And they go, oh, sure, because even though they didn't buy, it was a positive experience. They weren't upset or anything like that. So we would go in the home, and then I would ask them a few questions, and then they would then I would ask, what is it that prevented you from going ahead and getting the product? And they would tell me. And a lot of times it was some small detail that could easily be answered, some question that they had that their rep didn't answer for them, or some concern he didn't address, or something that they believed was true about the product that wasn't true about the product, or something like that. And about half of the time, they would go ahead and buy the product from me and then eventually my sales manager the next day. In other words, there was really a sale there. It just wasn't sold by the rep. Now, the agreement that I had with the reps, because this is what would happen, they would start saying, well, I sold that for you. You just went in there and wrote it up. I sold it. And of course, that's not true. Had they sold it, they would have come in with an agreement, and they would have come in with a form in a warranty registration. They would have come in with evidence that they made the sale. So they didn't really make the sale. But I still gave them $50. I'd say, okay, well, you don't get your commission because you did not make that sale. But we will give you $50 because you did the demonstration. And you spent a little bit of time and effort. So we'll go ahead and pay you something even though we made the sale. And then we also gave him the referrals. See, because we would get referrals, we'd give the rep the referrals too. And it worked out really, really well. I know you don't sell vacuum cleaners. I know you don't sell in people's homes. But that principle can work for you no matter what you sell. If you missed a sale, call them back the next day and say, can I ask you just a couple of customer service questions? I just wanted to make sure that everything was fine. We didn't upset you, that we explained the product properly and everything. And they're going to be very, very nice and kind and pleasant and everything like that. And then ask them, can I ask you what kept you from going ahead and getting the product or service yesterday? You can do it, or you can do it for other reps. And even ask the rep, say, how would you like to get paid for sales that you missed? And he'd go, well, I'd love to. I'll give you, and then name whatever price that you think is fair for him and is easily affordable by you. Say, I'll give you so much money if I call that person and get a sale, the one that you missed. If I call him and get a sale, I'll take the sale, but I'll pay you for that lead. Okay? And he'll say, well, yeah, because he was not making anything at all up until the moment you had this discussion with him. All right? That is a good way to make sales. The ones that were barely missed, another source of leads for you. Go and do likewise, my friends.